Hello, everyone. Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Mindverse. I'm your host, Euta, and I'm ready to head towards our new episode. So far, we have uncovered lots of insights that were helpful in the realm of organization. For instance, in the last episode, we spoke about the top 10 apps that would be very useful in your journey. If you missed it, feel free to check it out. Our journey continues today with another topic in the art of being organized. You might wonder why I keep calling it art. It is a skill that you can be extremely creative while doing it. I think we should change our perspective when it comes to this important skill. Anyways, now let's turn our focus to the main event. Today we will be speaking about tackling issues like an organized person. As a start, we will talk about issues and not consider them as the end of the line, but actually a great starting point. After that, we will see how we can tackle them while using our skills of being organized. Are you ready? Perfect. Let's do this. Issues. It is such a scary word for a lot of people. It's interesting that we have avoided our instinct in that direction. The more we have comfort, the tougher it becomes to face them. Challenges are part of our lives. Sucks, right? I know, not happy about it either. But we shouldn't look at it as the end of everything. Challenges are a great starting point. You might wonder why. They can be a defining point of our lives. They shape up our character, and they make us who we are. I understand that it is hard to believe that issues can be positive. But what is even harder to believe for people might be that issues have been existing for a long, long time. What has made us tune out one of our primary instincts on being able to tackle issues without difficulties? Drumroll, please. It's the comfort that technology has brought to us. Now things are easily achievable. And as good as that can be, is just as bad. You might think now that I sound like your parents. You know those stories on how they had to struggle just to barely make it to their schools? Well, they do have a point. Obviously, it is a bit exaggerated, but I'm sure that some of these obstacles were true. Challenges or issues, however you want to call them, are the inevitable part of our existence. With them, we grow, and we become better and better. Avoiding them makes it much more difficult, as they will become bigger and we won't be equipped enough to fix them. I recently read two very insightful books that opened up the perspective for me too. One is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson and The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Reading about embracing challenges and learning that they are the stepping point in our life was a bit strange to me. Nowhere in the content that we are presented daily this is portrayed like that. We are exposed to these beautiful stories and avoid the scary stories as much as possible. That's when it struck me. No wonder we're avoiding and bottling up our feelings and issues. It has become our coping mechanism. But that's not how we are, or our nature is. And reading about the other people's issues was such an eye-opener. In Holiday's book, I read about some of the issues that people have faced. And compared to that, mine looked so silly. After that, I continued my research and saw that we as a generation in humanity are facing a bunch of issues. Why then is the focus only on the issues and not taking steps to fix them? In these cases, we need our organizational skills in order to spearhead the win against the issues. Never underestimate the issues that you're facing. Today, it might seem like you can postpone it, but tomorrow it will become so problematic that you won't know where to start. Let's check some of the steps of being organized in your daily issues. First and foremost, make a plan about what you're facing. Approach the issue like you would be making a plan for vacation. Obviously, not the same outcome, but when you beat the issue, you will feel so accomplished, and I can assure you on that. The plan will have its own steps, and when you have something that you can control, it will ease the struggle. That's what matters in the beginning, to have something comforting in a tough situation. When you make a plan, you have to consider these steps. Understanding the issue, to focus on the main goal, steps to get there, to eliminate overthinking, and do not isolate yourself. You can add more steps as you see fit, but overcomplicating things is going to make it much more difficult for you. When you have the initial plan thought out, you can go to the internal steps of it. Let's review the step about understanding the issue. Each and every issue is unique to the people who are going through it. We're facing them as we go. But it doesn't mean that it hasn't happened before to someone else. Think about the things that you're facing. understand the why. Make sure to dig deeper. When you understand the why, you know what to do next. Every issue is like an iceberg. There's a surface, the thing that you can easily see and understand. But beneath that, there is an underlying context, and if you do not understand well, it might make it difficult for you to solve. Ask as many questions as possible. Take your time to brainstorm. Write down everything. In the end, it will be clear to you what the issue is really about. Let's jump to the next step, defining and focusing on your main goal. Obviously, you would say now, shouldn't fixing the issue be my main goal? And you're right. Fixing the issue is the ultimate goal. But is that the only outcome you want to have it in the end? If so, you're ready to go to the next step. But if not, make sure to use the same methods as above. Ask yourself questions. Reflect and visualize how that goal looks like. Would you feel happy with that outcome? When you have a goal, that serves like the light at the end of the tunnel. It will be a great pushing point and you will know exactly where you're heading. It is your motivation and something you can look forward to. Therefore, do not take this step lightly. It's just as important as the other ones. Let's move to the next step. Define the steps that would take you to your goal. This is an important step as you are outlining your whole thought process and you need to make them as actionable as possible. Planning the process will give you a head start, and that way, even if something unexpected happens along the way, you still have a plan you can lean on. This will give you a sense of control, and not only will you not let it define you, you will also prevent it from overtaking your life. When you already have the plan at hand, and you have covered the big steps, you can now break it down into smaller pieces. It is much easier like that, as if you want to start big, it will be very difficult to manage. And that's not because you can't, but it's because you are already under stress, so it makes it much more harder for you. Defining each step is also not as easy as it sounds. Besides the steps and the process you're outlining, make sure to make it as understandable for you as possible. That will help along the way. And make it as actionable as possible. Don't make it vague. You need to be sharp and in action. Moving on to the next one. Eliminate overthinking. Now we are at the real deal. I am a textbook overthinker, so bear with me when I say that it's not a good thing and you can definitely stop it. It is very tough to do so if you have programmed your brain to overthink constantly. It's a learned behavior. You aren't genetically predisposed to it. So just like you learn a behavior, you need to unlearn it. Easier said than done, right? Partially true. Things are under your control here. You can use different methods here too. I like one that is very interesting to practice. Dedicate a time in the day for overthinking. When you do that, you prepare yourself for it and won't occupy yourself further. Have an hour, let's say, for that. Overthink as much as you need during that time. After that is done, continue with your day. And it will be much better for you as your brain won't have the need to continue it, knowing that tomorrow there's a dedicated time for it. You can do other methods depending on which one fits your personality more. Work on this, as this is the main reason why most of the issues look too much to solve for us. They aren't, let me tell you that. It's how you perceive them. And finally, we'll be talking about not isolating yourself. Every issue that we have gone through, somebody probably has to. Know that you aren't alone in this. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That will not make you weak. Accept support in every step, and that will be good for you. We all go through a lot. It's very important to talk about it. Even if they can't help, it's important that you get it out of your chest. In moments like those, it might seem impossible. I understand that the issues can be difficult sometimes to talk about, but for sure you have someone you can lean on, someone you can talk to and make them your confidant. I'm certain that it might have happened that you have helped someone. Make sure to show your vulnerability and ask for help, or just have a talk with people. It gets much better like that. These are some of the steps you can use. Being organized is your ally in tough cases. As people, we are always vulnerable. These are the methods you can use which can be very useful for you. For example, Buddha had a 4-step method that he would use and helped him overcome the issues. These are the ones. Accept and let go. Observe and decide. One important factor here is that he says keep your feelings aside. It's good to feel them, of course, but you need to be objective. The third one is face your fears and act. And the last one is practice gratitude. It's important to feel your feelings and do not give up. While trying to fix the issue, don't forget to do self-care. Taking care of yourself is extremely important. Don't forget your strengths. One of the researchers from Greater Good in 2012 says that acting on your strengths increases happiness and decreases depression. By now, I believe you know your strengths, and if you're unsure, make sure to always self-reflect and think about your strengths. There is even a website, authenticatehappiness.org, which helps you via a test to figure out your own strengths. The name of the test is VIA Signature Strength Test. And here we are, finishing our 7th episode. I hope you had a great time and found these tips helpful. I'm more than happy to hear your thoughts and feedback. I have one more episode in store for you. In the upcoming episode, we will cover mental health and how it is closely connected to being organized. Initially, we will check the importance of mental health, and then we will cover how being organized helps it out. Stay with Mindverse. Feel free to share this podcast with friends, family, and anyone else in need of a little organizational inspiration. Remember, an organized life is a life filled with limitless possibilities. Until next time, stay organized, stay focused, and embrace the beauty of order.